Okay, y'all. I am back. I am back for Love Island. Season 8, episode 4. It's a whole lot of everything going on in this episode. Okay, so we start with Melanie, and she walks off saying her famous line, "Give me 10, give me 10, give me 10, give me 10." And it cut off from, like a smooth carryover from episode 3. And then Sincere and Sean and Bryce, they talk about Melanie's actions. And he says that it is frustrating to him. This what Sincere says. He said it's frustrating to him. And he wants someone that is going to be a teammate to him. He said, I'm gonna need somebody that's gonna be a teammate to me. I'm like, okay, Sincere. All right, Sincere. Anyhow, next. And Bia and Anaya are talking about Kenzie talking to Gabriel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're gonna sit on that. And then Sean, Gabriel, and Zach, they talking too. Everybody having conversations. And Gabriel gets pulled by Bia for a chat, right? And she asks Gabriel, does he like her personality? And then Gabriel tells Bia that Kenzie was his type, but he was not feeling her culture. And the difference too. Wow. I mean, I can respect that Gabriel, but I love Kenzie. I really do. Anyhow, next. And Anaya and Melanie are talking about Sincere. And she says that she wants to pull KC and whoever else for a chat. I'm like, God dang. And that's what Melanie says. And then, Anaya, she looking at her like, bitch, what? I mean, she's just looking at her like, bitch, what? And I know why she looking at her like that. Because didn't they good goddamn already have a chat? Her and Anaya had a talk. And I want to say that it was all of the ladies that were present. I want to say that. And anyway. It's gonna be some problems. It is gonna be some problems, y'all. And I personally don't like unnecessary ass drama because I mean it's gonna be some fucking unnecessary drama. And that's just all it is to it. All right. But she said that she wanna pull KC and whoever else. I'm like, girl. And then she was up there dancing too in the makeup room, and she was sitting up there dancing and clapping her butt cheeks. I'm like, girl, go on, please. Anyhow, next, Sincere wants to cuddle with Melanie, right? And she just said, no, no, no. And she said she does not want to cuddle with him. And she feels he is dishonest. She feels his dishonesty. Okay. I'm like, okay, y'all. And then the guys are making breakfast as usual. And then Melanie gonna pull Casey and she said, Georgie, for a chat. And then Sincere gives breakfast to Melanie and she gives KC. Sincere give her the food, right? Mm-hmm. And then she gives him a kiss. She gives Sincere a kiss. Okay. And then it's time for Melanie, and Melanie pulls Casey for a chat and says that she comes from a big family. And then she talk about some she didn't know. She thought she didn't know what his tattoo said, and a whole bunch of hogwash and a whole bunch of fucking word salad. And then she talking about that she wear glasses and all that. And then he was like, "Well, you ain't wore no glasses up in this house." And I'm like, "No, she ain't wore no glasses because she don't wear glasses." Then he asked her, "Do she wear contacts?" She said, "No." I'm like, "Girl, get the hell on." Okay. Anyhow, next. And Anaya and Sincere, they're talking about being honest, right? Uh-huh. And I'm like, that's just a conversation that sane people do have. And then they talking about being honest, and they talking about the way to be honest and dishonesty as well. Uh-huh. I see how it's moving and shaking. Then we get to Zach and Kata. And then they are both talking about their love for Shati. Shati? It's Shati. And Zach says that he is ready to talk to that girl. He ready to have a conversation though. And all that stuff. And we get back to Melanie, and Melanie wants to get to know Casey better. And then she wasn't doing nothing but just putting her lie forward. I think she was lying the whole time, and it's not even worth me saying what she was over there talking about. Okay, anyhow, next. And it is challenge time. It is challenge time. And it's called Boss Bitch. Okay. And it's some twerking. And then it's office crush. It said, who is your office crush? And who would take credit for the group project? And then Corbin, the new bombshell, y'all. Corbin was behind the account department door. And she got a big kiss from him first. She got a big kiss from him first. I don't want to. All right. And then we get to Bia and Bia. She's the office crush. And then she said her office crush is Sincere. And then Kenzie was picked as the one to step on toes. I'm like, why she picked as the one to step on toes? And so B go behind the door, and then she get a kiss from Corbin. And then Trinity and got to call out the and she said she got to call out the back and faking for promotion. And then she said it was Bryce. She said faking for the promotion. She said that it was Bryce. And then she he get dumped. And then Trinity gets a big kiss from Corbin, of course, because they gotta go through that accounting door and all that stuff. And when she get that kiss from Corbin, then is she all good? And then Melanie's office crush, she say, is Casey. And then Anaya said that she did not think that she would pick him. She didn't think she would pick him. But you know what? She pulled him for a crush, Anaya. So how did you not think that she was gonna be petty and pick him? Okay. And then Melanie wants and does slime Kata. And she says Melanie been bad all day. She gets a kiss from Corbin, of course. And then Kenzie's work. And then they started playing for Kenzie. They started playing Britney Spears. You better work, bitch. I don't know if y'all ever heard that song, but that used to be my song. And then Kenzie's office crush is Gabriel. And she gets tens from everyone. She gets dunked in the slime. Uh-huh. And then, but before she gets dunked in the slime or whatever, she gets her kiss from Corbin. And then Sean and Kenzie, she twerking and all this stuff. But I'm like, go Kenzie, go Kenzie, go Kenzie. All right, so we get to Kata's office crush, and she said her office crush is Sincere. And she kisses Sincere. And then she gets a kiss from Corbin behind the door, the accounting door, of course. And then she goes to kiss Zach too. And I'm like, okay, Kata. That's not girl. I love her. And then we get back to, because of course the thing is over, the challenge is over. And then the ladies, we get to the ladies, and Kenzie, Kada, Anaya, Bia, they talk about how she was excited to kiss Corbin. They all talk about how they was excited to kiss Corbin. And then Melanie says how she was happy to kiss Corbin. And Melanie says that she has to ask a question. And then they both came to the agreement, you know, that they both were being petty, because Kada and Melanie, and they both came to the agreement that they both were being petty and all this stuff. And she was just like, all right. And then they hugged. They both hugged, and then they hugged it out. And, I don't know if y'all think that it was over, but no, it's not. Okay. And then once they had their little powwow and they keep talking and all that stuff, it's time for the ladies to go back and get dressed for the night, right? And Trinity and Bryce talk about her sliming him, because Bryce felt some kind of way about him being slimed by Trinity. And then he said that he took it hard coming from her. And she says that it is a friendship vibe, and they said that they are, celebrating just being friends and stuff like that. But he like her a certain kind of way, a different way. Okay. And then B and Kenzie, they talk, and she wants to know why she talked to Gabriel for a chat, pulled Gabriel for a chat. And then Kenzie says she had no idea, Bay. And then Bay says that she says that Kenzie is at a higher risk than her. So that's why she wanted her to talk to the bombshell. Okay. And she gets the first digs at the bombshell. Yeah, this was Baby, and Kenzie. They talking, and that's when she told her that she gets the first digs at the bombshell, because she's at higher risk of getting dumped, but being single. So she looking out for her, but is she really looking out for her? Because it seems like she could be, trying to save her connection, so she won't go back and try to talk to Gabriel. But it is what it is. It is a game. It is Love Island. And then Anaya and Trinity, they talk about how the challenge went and their differences and disdain and stuff like that. And then they just both was just agreeing with everything that they was saying, and they was here, and they was agreeing with some stuff. They was agreeing with some shade and all this stuff and all that. But we all know that Kata, I'm gonna tell you this. Melanie, she don't want to fuck with Kata. She really don't. She don't, because Melanie, she is the person that will just probably just bend over just to get along, just for the sake of the game. However, with Kata, she don't give a damn. If she know that she need to say something, she gonna say it. If she talk behind your back, she gonna talk behind your back and then gracefully say it in your face too. Cause that's the difference. She ain't scared to say shit that she say behind the scenes in nobody's face. And that's all respect that I get from her. Okay. All right. And then Anaya gets a text to go to the fire pit. I got a text. And then KC gets a text welcoming Corbin to the villa. It did. It did. He is. Whew, okay. Now he says that this Casey, and he says that he not there. Well, this what's his name? Corbin says that he is not there for jobs, just there to get the men's girls and all this stuff. And then Zach says, guys, calm down, deep voice. And then he says, nice to see you again. And that's what Corbin says. And he says, nice to see the ladies again. And then he says, ladies, you gonna say, you want me to say, or you gonna say? And then Casey says, again, say what? Then Sincere is feeling some kind of way. hmm And he tells the guys how he, ha- I don't know what I was trying to say, but he tells the guys how he is, feeling. And then Bryce is immediately anxious. And then he asks, can he have a few with their ladies? Uh-huh. And then KC daps the men up. And then Sincere says, oh. I'm like, boy, God out there. And then, and so Corbin is sitting at the fire pit, and then Anaya likes him. And then he asks the ladies, what you like? What do you like? And he says he is 6'4". And then Kenzie is flirting with him hard, right? And she doing what she needed to do. And then he said that he has, mm, he says that he has a lot to go. And then Kenzie said, I want him saying, put him on the platter. And I'm like, all right, Kenzie. And then he said it is too many of y'all to go along. And he looking from left to right, left to right, left to right. And then Kenzie asks, what is a red flag? And then he says, have to ask, one on one. You have to ask him one on one that question. And then Kata asks, does he know their names? And when I tell you, God damn it, he stated all of their names from left to right with nothing, no hesitation. But do y'all think that he was reading the script, or he already was? Because I know they already be looking backstage. So do you think that he memorized their names and stuff like that? Or do you think that he went off the memory muscle? I don't know. But he sure said them names. And then KC says that they are watching they watching their demise. And hey fellas, we watching our demise. And then he's asked, and they get back to Corbin, and Corbin is asked what was his longest relationship. And then he says one and a half, and one and a half and half. And then Melanie immediately asks, she have a private chat before the man could finish saying anything to the women? And that's why I said that shit was shady, because you know damn well that the women wasn't to no damn answer and shit like that. And then she asked in the middle, rude. That's very rude. And then she asking, can we have a chat face to face, a private chat? And I'm like, girl, you doing too much. You doing too much. And he says that he feels like he can talk to her now. This when they get it on that one on one. And then I'm like, what the fuck, girl? And it's like, whatever gonna happen to you is gonna happen to you. Okay. Cause I'm not finna be sonning for no goddamn body. Cause you loco, bitch. You really are. She really is. Okay, and it's all to make Sincere jealous. I understand. And is that childish or is that not? Because you still have to remember that you act like you've been knowing Sincere for years on top of years. So it ain't no reason for you to be acting the way that you acting. I'm sorry. Okay. And that's showing insecurities. It's showing insecurities. I'm sorry. It's saying showing insecurities, and that's a big ass red flag, double two, 3, 4, 5, 6 time red flag. Okay. And then, she just flapping her little cheeks and all that stuff in front of Sincere. And then he's clapping and looking. Then Anaya says to Kenzie that you were supposed to get first dibs. And then Sincere looking puzzled, like, what the fuck? And he noticed she being shady and all that stuff. And then we get back to Melanie and Corbin. They talk, and he wants to know. He says that he feels like he can talk to her. Like kind I always say, I said a motherly talk. And she says she is not a bitch. And she is from Philly. And I'm like, girl, we don't give a damn. Okay. And then Corbin says that he has an older sister. And I'm like, so what's that supposed to mean? And all this stuff. They wasn't really talking about nothing of no substance or nothing like that. And I'm like, girl, go on. And then we get to Sean and Sincere, and they talk about how Melanie is moving. And then this Sincere, he said his feelings are hurt, and he says that he is being tested. And I'm like, you being tested? You definitely being tested. And she is going to flip the board, and he's gonna flip. He said that she gonna flip the board on him and say game over. And I said she may. He's seeing what I'm seeing. If a man can say that, and if a woman, myself, can say that, then I saw that instantly when she was trying to make him jealous, and she got mad at him when they was doing that other contest or challenge or whatever about the questions and the stuff on the board on the people's name going in the water and shit like that. She felt some kind of way ever since then, but she holds grudges. She holds grudges. Anyhow. And then Melanie, when she joins, it's over now. And she had her little one-on-one with him. And she joined the ladies, right? And she joined Trinity, Bia, and Anaya. And she has the googly eyes. And Bia tells her it was wrong and that it was wrong. And then Mackenzie told her, not Mackenzie, Melanie, told her, don't be defensive and chill out. And then Trinity says, was the conversation. Anyway, the bitch was being shady. That's all I'm gonna ever say. She was being shady, and I don't know if I probably get a little bit too, defensive and all that stuff. But I was just looking at the fact, and then Melanie ended up apologizing. She said, "Okay, oh my goodness, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know." And she said, "Cause Bia said, well." You always do stuff like that. You do shit like that all the time. And then Melanie said, well, I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't know. I'm like, yes, you did. No, though. She knew. She knew that it was going to cause a spark and stuff like that. And I'm like, are you trying to cause a spark to make sure that you stay on the show? Or you look like the resident crazy lady? Is it all an act? It's like, is it real or is it not real? I know you don't want sincere. And I know that it's always, and then I'm gonna tell you this. It always be seeming like when women go do stuff like that, it seems like they have been intimate with the man, and then I know how stuff like that go. And I'm like, you already did have sex with the man? Cause he feeling some kind of way, you feeling some kind of way, you was gonna feel some kind of way regardless, cause that's just how you are. But I'm like, look, y'all, don't piss me off. Because I already didn't get pissed off with Melanie because she just doing a lot. She doing a lot. And I get that it's a game, girl, but and I know that it's not Friendship Island and stuff like that, but it's just a thing of having more respect for yourself. And if you ain't gonna have respect for the other women, cool. But you have to have more respect for yourself because at the end of the day, you have to see how it's gonna look to a man. Okay? And if you don't care about nobody calling you this and this and that, from a man's point, then okay. But you know what? You need to be careful. And then you have to think about how you moving. Because at any day, your ass can be going home, girl. She really can. And that's why I said, whenever we can vote, I'm sorry, she can go. She can. All right. And that was Love Island season 8, episode 4. Bye, girl. Bye, Melanie. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe.